What's up, everyone? I don't even know what to say. I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited that you're here. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. This is officially season 2 that we're kicking off. I mean, I guess I've kind of been working on it. We've had 5 guests come on the show so far. But this is my first one. This is how we're going to open it. So thanks for being here. Like I said, stoked to be doing this. It took me like an hour to figure out my setup, which was kind of annoying. I don't know why I was having such difficulty. I think my computer's storage isn't that great. And so I was having issues there. I needed to update Chrome. All the issues that I have when I have guests on the show, I just had with myself. So I guess now I know what guests face when they come on here and they're like, it's not working. Yeah, super excited for season 2. Very grateful to be doing it. I'm also proud of myself to still be here. And, you know, I committed to doing a year of this, doing at least. I told my mom, I think once, I'd like to get to 100 episodes. We'll see if I can actually get there. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of work. So 50 and then assess where we're at, I think is more realistic. So that'll take us to a year. It'll take us through season 2. And like I said, I think at that point we might kind of shift a couple of things. I have a lot of different ideas of what directions I want to go. And more importantly, where I want this to eventually end up. I've mentioned this before. I don't really want to talk too much about it because I do think they're really good ideas, and I think someone out there will steal them. Someone that has the time and energy and money to do it before me. So can't tell you. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. I alluded to this in the season 1 finale. These solo episodes I think are going to be a little bit quicker, a little bit less life updates, because I'm just like, my life is not that interesting to really update like that often, because we're going to do one episode of me, then one episode of a guest, and so on and so forth, for the duration of season 2. So that'll be fun. A lot more hearing from just me, and so it's going to be a lot different than just like, oh yeah, I had a bagel for breakfast last Tuesday and it was really good. I like bagels. I mean, obviously my updates haven't been that boring, but yeah, they don't need to be updates. So here we are. I thought the first thing I should do, and I'm going to start doing this with guests. You won't hear it in the first couple guests because I've already recorded those, and this is a new enlightenment that has come to me. I'm going to start my episodes with the rapid fires. I think those are the most fun. I think people open up, and you kind of get to know them a little bit past the surface level. So I'm going to start with those, and I'm going to start actually these episodes by myself with those as well. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do like current rapid fire answers. So like, you know, the questions will pretty much be the same, but I'll just, you know, give different answers and references and stories. Yeah, I'm kind of rambling, so I'll just give you an example. I'm going to do 5 rapid fires, same ones that I'll start consistently giving guests. And what are the answers for me in this moment, you know, in the last month, in the last year, or what's the first story that comes to mind? And I'll be able to share more about myself, and the things that I've experienced in this career versus just like I said, I had a bagel last week. So the first question is pet peeve. I love asking people's pet peeve, because I have a lot of pet peeves. I think a lot of things annoy me. That's why I'm a generally grouchy person. No, I'm just kidding. But I do love Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's like my favorite show. I don't know if I've talked about that on here, but it's very similar to Seinfeld. If you haven't watched it, it's like a modern day, you know, Seinfeld. It's the same creator, Larry David, and he just like, he hits it on the head. Like these social confrontations, these thoughts that we have about, you know, situations that we're in or people that we meet or things that we see as kind of just innocent bystanders. Like there are things that I think about and want to say and do say sometimes. And so I love that show. So I love hearing about people's pet peeves. I feel like I have a million pet peeves, and I'll literally like watch something happen and be like, man, I hate that. Like I'd say 2 or 3 times a day. So nothing crazy, but like, enough. But one of them, and this is going to be kind of a theme for today, because we just traveled. We got back from Portland, where we played their G League team a couple times. And so, yeah, travel and airplane and airports are kind of on the mind. And so pet peeve for me, every time I go to the airport and you go to baggage claim and people are crowding the carousel. I absolutely hate that. And I want to get like a megaphone. Yeah, is that what you call it? Like one of those things that the cheerleaders hold. Yeah, megaphone. And just scream like, why are we like, back away from the carousel? Why don't they announce that over the airport? That seems like something that they would kind of cue into and start announcing. Because I'm like, I absolutely hate that. Like, why are you leaning against the carousel so no one else can get to their bag when they see it? And you have one bag, it's eventually coming. You can stand 6-7 feet away, and when it comes, walk up and get it. And if no one's crowding it, then you'll be able to get it with all the freedom in the world. I hate it. It's just so like, ugh, it's disgusting. I know I shouldn't be that passionate about it, but it's just like, it's common sense. Like if you stand there, everyone else is going to stand there, and then no one can get their bag. Like you have to wait till your bag gets to that exact spot. It's like, no, that's the stupidest thing ever. So I hate that. That's pet peeve. Favorite place, restaurant, food experience. I love asking people this because, I've traveled a bunch. I love food. I love different types of food, experiencing, different places and cultures through their food, I think is a lot of fun. So I make a point to do that. For example, Portland, I made sure to go get some recommendations and go to like some cool local spots that people like. And it was great. I feel like, I didn't love downtown Portland. It wasn't super nice. Getting outside of the city was great. But experiencing the food, brought it up a star or a level for me. You know what I mean? Like there's good food there. And so I always like experiencing that because it's a little bit easier to give the benefit of the doubt to that city or that place that I'm visiting. Love asking people this. And one that came to mind, I don't really know how to say it because I'm not Portuguese, but Portugal. We were in Lisbon about almost 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, like now. Yeah, February. And we were there during a national team break when we were playing in France. They gave us probably 5 or 6 days off. We went there for 4 or 5 days, whatever it was. And I had these little pastries. They're called pastéis de nata. Like I said, I butchered it because I don't speak Portuguese, but they're like these little egg cream. I don't even, they look like mini chicken pot pies or something. Like there's a flaky, like hard crust on top. And then on the inside is just like this delicious cream. I probably made it sound disgusting when I said the chicken pot pie, but just like they're just like these little circles and they're unbelievable. And they came to mind. I had like 100 of them when we were there. Yeah, probably about 100. My wife didn't have any, poor thing, because at that time, our son Johannes kept spitting up around the clock. And so we thought he had like a lactose intolerance deal going on. And so she was breastfeeding, so she couldn't have milk. And so I ate for both of us. But she just found these little things at Costco a couple weeks ago. And so we've been chowing down on them, and they're actually pretty freaking good. So I'll make sure to post that at one point on our page. And once this comes out to reference, so you guys can go and find them. But I'm sure if you just look up like Portuguese dessert Costco, you'll find them and you'll be able to see if they're at your local Costco. But if they are, get them. They're very, very good. So yeah, that was one of my favorites. Big dessert guy, big sweet tooth. I love also asking people about their plane experiences. I feel like something weird happens on every single plane ride I go on. And another one happened. Again, trip to Portland. So it's fresh on my mind. We just got back 2 days ago. This one like was wild. like I said, I've had a couple weird ones. This one was different. This lady had just this stewardess, flight attendant had just the worst like energy ever. Like you could tell she was mad. She was mad that she was loading all these young guys. We were on Southwest, so we took up like the whole exit rows, like, probably like of the 12 seats, like 8 or 9 of them, because they when we go fly Southwest, they get us like the priority boarding. So we're all on there. It's delayed, so we're on the tarmac for like 30 minutes. And one of my teammates, who's 19 years old, 18 or 19 years old, falls asleep, and he's the window exit row, like 2 rows behind me, and falls asleep against the window because we've been sitting there for 30 minutes. And this lady, when we start moving, she's giving the whole spiel on like willing and able and look at the pamphlet and blah, 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 blah. She notices he's asleep, goes to wake him up, doesn't tap on his shoulder, doesn't ask the guy sitting next to him to like wake him up. She goes and smacks him in the head with the emergency exit pamphlet, like twice, smacks him, and like kind of chuckles, and like a couple people chuckle, but and I like couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, what? And also proud of myself because when she came back to the front, I was in like the front row of the exits, and I was like, I actually called her out on it, which might have been maybe not the best decision, but I'm like, no, you're not, I just can't let that slide, especially when like it's a kid, you know what I mean? So she smacks him, wakes him up. He's super confused. All my teammates like are looking around at each other like, wait, what just happened? Like, you can't do that. So I said that. I was like, you can't do that. Like, you shouldn't be hitting people to wake them up. I'm sorry. And she just immediately like flips it on me like it was a crazy question. She was like, well, how else am I supposed to get his attention? And I was like, tap on his shoulder or ask the guy next to him. Like, are you serious? And then she was just like livid with me. So she goes through and does the whole thing, rolling her eyes at like anytime she looks at me or my teammates. And then she goes, all right, I need a verbal confirmation that you're willing and able. And she goes to point at me, and I go to say yes, just to get this over with and put my headphones back in and pretend it didn't happen. And then she like points to someone else and then looks at me, and she's like, was I pointing at you, sir? And I bust out laughing. I was like, wait, this can't be real. And then she went down the line, eventually got me. When she got someone that wasn't on our team, she like got in their face and was like saying, thank you for understanding. Finally, someone gets what we're doing here. And like, it was so gross. Like it makes my blood boil. It was like, what is your deal? So our GM was sitting like 6 rows in front of me, and he like turned around. He was like, text me what happened. So I would like happily sent him this big long voice message, giving him all the details. And then he like talked to her after. And as I was leaving, got her name. And I think he's like reporting her to her supervisor because it was ridiculous. And as I was walking by, she was denying everything, saying we were being rude and rowdy. Like no one was being rude or rowdy. Like it was like the most normal boarding experience of all time. So anyways, that was really, really long. That was like 10 minutes long, but that was a rough one. That was an interesting one. My fourth question is, I love asking people their playlists. I have asked Jeremy Jones, a snowboarder, like, does he have a playlist he listens to? I think I asked Lauren Samuels, who's a competitive skier. She said no, because while she's skiing, it's not like she wants to be distracted. She's going super fast, so she doesn't want to be distracted. So I asked her, okay, what's your, baseball walkout song, right? Like everybody in baseball has a walkout song when they're going to the plate. So like, what would your walkout song be? Sharif O'Neal, we just did a post on this recently. He has a playlist for his heart surgery that he did while he was going under, like the songs that he listened to kind of calm him down. So I love hearing those. I decided, I'm not making playlists actively. I have a cousin that does that. He just knows like everything that's ever come out, I think, of music. I don't do that, but I figured I'd give you a little peek into my my playlist with one song and just what I've been listening to recently. And that is Hell and Back, like Hell space N space Back by Bakar, Bakar. It's a great song. I don't really know what genre you would call it, but you should go listen to it. It's a good song. Saw the music video while I was working out. the other day, and one of my teammates and I decided that, I mean, no offense to Bakar, I'm sure he'll listen to this, but he's a funny looking dude. I'm not gonna lie, funny looking dude. And I think the best looking people maybe don't make the best art, is a discovery I'm making. So that's why my podcast, I think, is getting better and better, because I'm quickly deteriorating in the looks department. No, I'm just kidding. But funky looking dude, but great music. And I wonder if there's some correlation there, you know? And then number 5, a play that lives rent free in your head. You guys have heard me ask this a bunch of times to a bunch of different athletes. And I have so many, and I want to start telling them in detail. And so I'm going to start doing this at the beginning of each of my episodes, like I mentioned. My number 1, I'm going to tell my boys about, that I'm going to tell my grandkids about, that I'll tell anyone and everyone who's ever listening to me about, is the call up. That it's kind of like a whole day that lives rent free in my head, but it feels like it was yesterday. We had a G League game the night before. I got the call in the morning that they needed me to come in. I was so stoked, couldn't believe it. Drove downtown, got to the practice facility, and they had a shoot around. They were in the middle of a shoot around, and I didn't even know they had a game. Our schedule's busy, their schedule's busy. It's not like I keep track of every single game that they have. But I asked the assistant coach, Jesse, who I was tight with. He was our summer league coach. I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize we had a game. Who were we playing?" And he's just like, "Oh, the Lakers." And this was 2020. So this is the year that they won it, right? So, they got LeBron, they got Rondo, they got Dwight Howard, they got AD, they have Avery Bradley, they have Kyle Kuzma, Caldwell Pope. They had, and I'm missing lots of players in there too. Like, they were stacked. They had a very, very good team. They were rolling, and I just my stomach dropped at the hearing that, but also my heart was beating fast. Like, dang, this is what I've been working for. This is what I've been waiting for and dreaming for. And then he takes me, because I missed the shoot around. He brings me up into the team room where we were eating, and he's breaking down film of LeBron and AD. And he's like, when you switch off on LeBron, force him this way, we're going to double him in the post. AD likes to do this. This is his tendency. And the whole time in my head, I'm just thinking, this is a joke. There's no way any of this information helps me. I'm helpless against these guys. I'm not going to guard them and hold them scoreless, which I didn't. Then you get to the actual game. Luckily it was in the morning, so I told my parent. My wife was in town. She was going back and forth between Sacramento and Utah at that time for school. She was in town, so luckily she was already there. That was taken care of. And then my parents and my cousin Morgan got on the last flight possible to get them there in time. So they were there, which was cool. And then 5 minutes in, Luke Walton looked down the bench and called my name. And I went out there, and legs shaking, heart beating. I felt sick. It was crazy. It was just I had played so many games and on a high level on a big stage, but nothing was like this. And I go out there and I'm guarding Anthony Davis, and the whole Lakers bench is making fun of me, trash talking, "AD, who is this guy? Go get him. Get a bucket, AD." And I was like, dang, they're right. Who am I? Oh my gosh. They were all just having a good time. And AD, sure enough, ISO'd me top of the key. It was a sideline out of bounds. And just immediately squares me up and starts driving at me. My legs gave out. I was backpedaling, and they were jello. They gave out. And so I just brought him down with me, just fouled him, which, whatever, saved a lot of face there. And actually, I think that just helped me relax. Okay, I'm in this game. I'm also playing. I'm here. I can foul these dudes. I'm strong. I'm not going to make it easy for him. You know what I mean? And luckily, I brought him down with me, because if I would have fallen and then he would have dunked on me or something, first play of the NBA, that would have been rough. But I held my own. But that game will forever be my quote unquote moment that lives rent free in my head in my career. It was just it was special. It was special to be on that level, and just a real testament to the hard work that went in, and the sacrifice and the luck. The right time, right place. that I got to be there and experience playing against those guys. So yeah, those are my rapid fires. We're 20 minutes in. Let's move on to the next little segment. I want to give you guys quick updates on and off the court. This is my update segment. It'll be quick. Number one is my knee. I started running at 100%. I've been going on this Alter Gravity treadmill and running at I think we started at 30%, probably 5 or 6 weeks post-op, and then in the 6 weeks following have built up to 100%. So that feels really good. I mean, very tiring. I'm not in great running shape. I'm in great biking and swimming and rowing shape. I've been dominating the weight room because that's all I've been doing for 3 months, but running is a whole different ballgame. So I think, that'll be tough getting into running shape. That'll be tough then getting into court shape, because that's even another thing. And then getting into game shape. There's still a couple levels that I need to get to, but I have a good team behind me, and I'm going to work hard. So it's not really an issue. So yeah, that's been a huge blessing. You don't realize that you miss running until you're not allowed to do it for 3 or 4 months. So don't take it for granted. Love it while you're healthy. Fun little update. I had a text conversation with our former guest, Susanna Duke. Susanna, if you're listening, if anyone from Pelion is listening, what's up? How we doing? And I committed to a second internship with them this spring/summer. Obviously, we'll have to see what that looks like timeline-wise as the season winds down, and we explore other opportunities, or we might travel for a little bit, and what lines up best with what they're trying to do. So, I mean, again, very grateful. I had such an amazing experience, and they're totally letting someone in the door that I don't know if I belong there. I don't deserve being there. I feel like they're really doing me a huge favor. And so it's an honor for me that people, that level of people are letting me come and observe and be a part of their team and integrating me into their system. So very excited about that. As I get a text message, and as I, did it last year, hopefully that means, I come with a little bit of experience, a little bit of know-how, and can build upon my experience, from last summer and do that much better. And, that'll be the real, I think, telling factor for me is oh yeah, you did learn some things, you did retain, even though you weren't able to keep up necessarily, just because this, season has been a whirlwind, with the new baby and the knee surgery and all that's going on. But yeah, I think that'll be a good benchmark and just checkpoint, I guess, is what I'm looking for. Checkpoint is all right, yeah, I can keep doing this and I will keep improving and feeling more and more comfortable, less of a fish out of water. So super stoked about that. Also stoked, in Portland, again, you guys are like, oh, did you go to Portland? In Portland, we went to the Nike headquarters, which was really cool. We got to test a couple NBA uniforms that they're going to be rolling out in probably 2 or 3 seasons. We did a couple focus groups because they love hearing back from the actual athletes that are going to be wearing this stuff, or things just like it. And first of all, it was just amazing hearing about the process, all that goes into a single product. We had someone in the LeBron James building break down what it's like building one of his shoes and the back and forth between him and this creative team and the designers. And it's an 18-month process, and they'll do it again 2 years before, sometimes 3 seasons before it's going to release, which is just crazy. So the logistics of it, I mean, they're just a well-oiled machine. And so I really enjoyed being up there and hearing all about, stuff that I wear every single day and all that goes into it. All the collaboration. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. They're a $120 billion business, which is crazy. And Phil Knight, who is the founder, is worth $40 billion. I mean, it's absurd, how big of a company it is. So to get that much of backstage access was really cool. I'm wearing the shirt. You can kind of see it. We got to make a shirt in the Olive Street studio. It's like, I don't know, where they do a lot of testing, and it's more on like the sewing, like hands-on studio, like making these creations and seeing what works and what doesn't, instead of like digital renderings and 3D models of different apparel, pieces of apparel. This is like where they get back to the basics and like mess around, like sewing and the heat press and putting things on there in person to see how it is. So it was pretty cool. I got to make a shirt. I made a shirt for Gabrielle that she says she likes. I mean, I don't know if she likes them. But I thought it was pretty solid. I'll have to post those as well, because that was pretty cool. And it just made me think, like, there's so much out there that I just don't know about, and that's why it's so important to just do my research and reach out to as many people as possible and see what is out there. Because there, right now I have my toes in a couple different things, but there's like literally limitless possibilities. There's limitless ways that I can go after basketball, and I just know a couple of them, so I need to get to know as many as possible. So being around Nike open, more ideas and hopefully doors, because I'm just like, yeah, maybe there's something here that better suits me than, coaching or venture capital or sales. Like, those are kind of the only things I've come up with, which is great to have something. But if I'm really going to be able to go down a list and figure out what fits exactly what I'm trying to do, and I know I can do it at a high level, then I need to get to know more areas. And so, yeah, it was a good reminder, and also very cool to get an inside look. Okay, that is a quick little that. Okay, quick little shout outs. I already did one for Kyle Van Noy. Career high in sacks. Their defense, the Ravens, are dominating, and tomorrow they're playing in the division championship. So shout out Kyle Van Noy. Very, very cool. Again, he was on his couch not that long ago, and now he's having a career year. And so very, very cool. If you haven't listened to his episode, go do it. Very interesting guy. And then Harrison Barnes actually had his career high last night. So this is a guy who's 12 or 13 seasons in against his former team, one of his former teams, the Warriors. They're having a little bit of a down year. The Kings are having a great year again, and he has a career high and leads them to a win. I think it was like 37 or 39 points. So shout out to those two guys. Very cool. And I kind of want to actually touch on this. I want to be a little bit more up to date on things and talk about some things that are going on, because this will release soon. This is my current events section, right? I want to talk about the NBA, because I saw a tweet from a friend who said, who wanted people to grade. So he had like different options on this Twitter poll or X poll. What grade would you give the NBA product right now? A, B, C, D, E, F. I guess there's no E. I don't know why there's none E. What would you give it? And I think I gave it a B. He said the same thing. He said, I'd give it a B, trending towards a C. He goes to a lot of games. He just feels like the defense is not there. Passion is not there. Keeping these all-stars out for rest is super lame. Like, I don't know if he like also talked about like in between quarters and halftime. Like, I don't know if like the show isn't great or whatever, but like he just said the NBA as an overall product, what grade do you give it? So I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. I give it a B. I think is fair. I'm looking more like technical, like X's and O's, and I don't love, like, this is just what happened in the last 5 days. Embiid has 70. Karl Anthony Towns has 62. Devin Booker has 62. And then last night, Luka has 73. And I'm just like, that's lame to me. Like, I don't know, even my teammates will probably disagree. Like, Yeah, that's a lot of buckets. Like, it's hard to do. I agree, it is hard, but it should be way harder. It should be impossible, right? Like, but the defense, like the rules make it so defense is impossible, which I think sucks. I just think it just makes it too frivolous. Like, a bucket doesn't mean much. I don't want it to be like soccer where you get like 1 to 3 baskets a game, obviously. But I also think 73 points is ridiculous. That's like as much as a good varsity team is scoring as a team. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I love that defense is impossible. I think it's a little lame that, to me, it's obvious that the NBA wants as much scoring. Like, that's the product they're trying to push out, which everyone I talk to, other than some teammates, I don't think anyone really loves that. So I'm not sure where they're getting this like market feedback of what people want, because I don't think people want that. I think my favorite era was when I was younger and like watching the Detroit Pistons of the world. You know what I mean? Like Malice in the Palace. No, I'm just kidding. My brother and I did watch that live, and it was crazy, but not live like in person, but as it happened on TV. Like teams just grinding it out to get a win. You know what I mean? Like, way more physical, way more defense oriented, way more even games, I just think. And the games meant, I think, a little bit more. Like, it's easier to take it personally when it's hard to get a single basket. You have to work for it every single possession. Possessions are just not valued like they used to be. And so I still watch it every day. I love watching it. I love basketball. It's a big part of my life, but I think it could be better. So be interested what you guys think. Yeah, I wrote this down too, and the last point I'll say is, I just feel like the viewers are alienated a little bit with this treatment of superstars, like I alluded to earlier, like the sitting out, the resting, the demanding trades, getting coaches fired. Like, I think that's, I've been saying lame a lot, but it's just lame. Like, I'm not for it. I just think, like, yes, they should be held on a pedestal. Yes, they're, the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, but like, to dictate every single facet of the business of the game, I don't think is very fair. And like I said, it alienates, the average Joe that's trying to enjoy the NBA. It just feels like these guys are larger than life in a bad way. And there's not a ton of accountability, because, they'll just fire that guy or demand a trade or whatever. And well, that just made me think, speaking of accountability, then you look at like the Pistons and the Spurs of the world, who have won like 6 games up to this point, which is absurd. I'm like, how is there no accountability for this? Like, how are they just rewarded then with a good pick, which then positions themselves for better trade opportunities for I get the lottery is to give, smaller market teams a better chance and their strategy to it. But I love talking about hypotheticals, like hypothetical punishment. Like, there has to be some incentive for these teams to just not crash and burn from day one and be okay with it. Because guys that love basketball, that know basketball, that are good at basketball, but don't have that same opportunity, like, it hurts. Like, I'm looking at the Pistons, like, I should be on that team. Like, at this point, you know what I mean? Like, they've won, they lost 20, whatever it was, 27 in a row. I can't even remember. Like, let's get someone else in there. You know what I mean? Like, no one should be losing this much. And so I love talking about hypothetical punishments. My brother and I text each other about this all the time and talk about it with teammates. I have a couple ideas. One is, if you're the bottom, let's say 4 teams. So right now it'd be Charlotte, San Antonio, Detroit, and I don't know. Is it Portland? I don't know. Sorry. Portland if it's not. But take bottom 4 teams at the end of the year, and they have like a little playoff, and the winner gets the number 1 pick, or the winner gets, something. I think that's way better, because then it's like, all right, you can be bad, but you can't be the worst. Because if you're the worst, you're not getting it, right? And maybe that'd be like the play-in game where you have like teams that aren't that good, then kind of being rewarded. I don't think so though. I think it would just make things interesting. I have, as a viewer, would love it. So that's my first idea. Second one, I would love some type of relegation. That's logistically impossible. It's not like you're going to relegate an NBA team to like a G League market and elevate a G League team. For those that are unfamiliar, in Europe, the last place team, sometimes the bottom two, sometimes bottom three, bottom four, depending on what country and what sport, will go down to the second division team, and the top teams will go up and they'll be replaced. So there's a lot of incentive to not be like just absolute crap. You can't do that with the NBA. It'd be impossible. I understand that with contracts and the way that it works. But what if this is my own idea that I love. What if you have the last place NBA team? So right now the Pistons, at the end of the year, if they are still the last place team, they play the G League champion in like a best of 3 series or something, or even a single game. I don't care. So right now, I think it'd be like the Indiana Mad Ant or the Mad Ants or who won it last year, the Blue Coats, like really good teams, right? Teams that have a lot of NBA experience, teams that will get call-ups, teams that have guys that are still hungry, trying to get back to the league. Let's have them play. Because I think the embarrassment factor of having to play these guys and extend your season one more game, you can't just bounce to Cancun or Cabo right after the season, but like, shoot, we have to stick around for this mini training camp because now we have to go prove to everyone that we beat the G League team. And I think they will beat the G League team. Personally, I think it'd be more competitive than the average fan will agree that it would be. But it'd be a pain. I think so. I'm like, G League season finishes 2-3 weeks before the NBA. That gives them ample time. You win the tournament. They get to celebrate a little bit. Maybe some of them get called up. I don't know. But then they also just go right back to it. They have like a week or two to rest, recover, start practicing again, extend, and they'd all get paid to do this, obviously. And it'd be a great stage for all of them to show like, hey, yeah, I still belong, or I do belong if I haven't been there yet. And then as soon as the NBA season is done, boom, play one more game. I think people would love it. Like, I think that'd be the most watched game. Like, seriously, because people would be interested. Like, how good is the G League? How bad is, X team? And it would get conversations flowing about, okay, who actually belongs to be here? Who wants to be on this level and deserves to be there? I think it'd be worth it. But that's just me. And that leads me to story time. We're going to finish out with this. What just happened? I think I skipped over something. Yeah, okay. Story time is relegation in Italy. My first year, I was playing with this team. We had a lot of rookies. We had 4 guys that had never played pro ball, including myself. That's kind of what this team is. They springboard into, bigger and better situations in Europe, more pay, more competitive leagues. Like, I mean, the Italian league is super competitive, but we weren't playing internationally. So it was 1 game a week, not paying us like out of your mind money. But it was tough. We had guys get hurt. We had guys, we were relied upon as the rookies, as the rookie foreigners. One of them left. He pieced out after training camp. He's like, I can't do this. And because we had the deck kind of stacked against us. Like, we're playing against real pros that don't care who we were in college, that are making more money than us, that have, better coaches, better facilities, all those things, better budget. And we were bottom of the league all year. Like, all year. It was like us and 2 other teams. We were like battling it out. And my brother was asking, he didn't realize we had relegation in basketball like they do in soccer. And I was telling him, yeah, it was a crazy feeling when we got to the last game day and we're all locked, us and these 2 other teams. And we're getting our butts handed to us. We're losing by like 30. I should go look up the final score. 30 to this team who we had actually beaten during the year, but had improved with some with some new signings and a new coach and all that, which is normal. And they were murdering us. And so we're sitting on the bench like, crap, that's it. Like, we're going to go. We didn't have to win that day, but if we were going to lose, then the other two had to lose by more. Like, it was a complicated, ordeal. So we were just like, hey, if we win, we're good. Because these other guys, if they lose, then, we control our own destiny to a point. Anyways, we're all depressed on the bench. And then the what do you call them? The Italian words popping in my head. The athletic trainer like taps me on the shoulder and tells me to come to the end of the bench. It's like the third or fourth quarter, we're getting smacked. And he shows me his phone, and the other two teams, the games are over and they got smacked by even more, like demolished. And so we knew we were good. Cause if they both, like I said, it was complex. If we all lost, then we were good. If they lost and we won, we were good. But if we lost and they both won or whatever, then we were going down to the second division, which is like a huge, they say shame for the team, for the society, for the community, for the city. Like they absolutely hate it. They will do anything to avoid it. So we're down 30 on the bench. We get the news and then we start celebrating. Like we're just having a good time. We go into the locker room. People are popping champagne. Coach is coming in there, takes his shirt off, dancing around. People are taking videos, pictures. Like, you would have thought we won the World Series, the NBA Finals, but no, we came in third to last and had just lost by 30. So that was fun. Luckily since then I've never been close to being relegated. It was an interesting experience, and it was like a championship. You know what I mean? Like, not going down is a championship for certain societies and clubs, I guess I should say. So, big fan of anything like that, because you start getting closer and closer. It's like in those movies where, like, I don't know, they're like Chicken Run, where they're, in that giant furnace thing that's like chopping people. Like, you're getting closer and closer. You're on this track and you're about to get your head chopped off, and then you find a way to wiggle out of it. Like, it was, shout out Chicken Run. It was a great experience, not going down. And so I'm a big fan of anything that incentivizes guys to play hard, I'll give credit to the NBA. I think the in-season tournament was great. It kind of got guys for the first third of the season to lock in and play hard because they were playing for something. And now they're kind of playing for like a little bit of all-star, a little bit of end of the season positioning. And then the last third of the season, it's like, all right, playoffs, go time. Everyone's trying to get into those top 10 spots. So yeah, anything like that, big fan. Okay. This is the last little bit. Sorry, this is the first time doing kind of this new method, 45 minutes. I think we can get to about 45 minutes and that should be good. I want you guys to look out for next week. Next Tuesday, we'll be back with an unbelievable guest, Nadia Nadim, who actually just today signed, this is the end of January, signed with AC Milan, the women's team, which is like unreal. So very stoked for her. Unbelievable episode. Like I said, that's the only word that like really you can describe her story and what she's up to now. Very, very cool. So definitely tune in next Tuesday. Look out for posts. We're going to be a lot more active on Instagram. We're going to show you guys a little bit of branding that we've been working on. We got a logo. We got merch coming. We have a website that's almost done. We're going to start sending out a newsletter, doing a little bit more giveaways, not tons, but we are going to have probably a big one as we're approaching 1,000 followers. So make sure you stay active on our Instagram page because there's going to be a lot of good things coming. And I just want to leave you with this. I finished reading, listening, I shouldn't say reading, listening to this book called How to Be an Imperfectionist. And it caught my eye because I think I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I think everyone is, everyone wants everything to be perfect. No one wants bumps in the road necessarily, right? Especially with certain aspects of our life. But what I loved about this, and I posted about it on Instagram, I normally don't love self-help books because they're kind of wordy and they're super repetitive. But when they can give me one big giveaway or takeaway rather, like this one did, then to me they're worth reading or worth listening to. And this one was cool because it said a perfectionist, and this is kind of just my own version of what I heard in the book over and over. A perfectionist will find essentially 1,000 reasons not to do something. So take working out, for example. Your legs are tired. It's a little bit too late in the day. You haven't had your coffee. You don't have tons of time. You don't have anything planned as far as a workout. And the list goes on and on. You don't have the right equipment. You don't have the right clothes on. Like, there's so many reasons to say no to so many things that we know we should be doing and we want to be doing, and that are going to get us closer to different goals and different versions of ourselves that we're trying to get to, right? An imperfectionist will find the one reason to just do it, right? The one reason, which is, this is going to get me a little bit better. This is progress. This isn't perfection, but it's going to get me one step closer to who I say I want to be and who I want to be. So yeah, I'm not wearing the right apparel. Doesn't matter. I'm still going to get a workout in, or it'll just be 10 minutes, but I'm going to get something in. Or, it'll be, I'll just hop on YouTube and type something in and I'll plan a better workout moving forward. But for now, I'm just going to get something done. So I really love that. And I've been, I think, doing a pretty good job of putting it in my own life. Like, just one step is better than, overthinking, overanalyzing, finding all the reasons not to do it. Just find the one reason to do it, and make it a little bit smaller, but make it a little bit smaller of a step, but make it still. So I thought that was super cool. I want to leave you guys with that. Go rate and review, follow us, like us. If you like this stuff, share it with your friends. Helps a lot. Thank you for listening. Stoked to be back. This season's going to be pretty freaking cool. We have a lot of really cool guests lined up. Still a lot of recording to go. I haven't nailed many dates down, but we have 5 done, like I said, and 15 unbelievable ones on the way. So thanks for being here. And next Tuesday, talk to you soon.